Okay, so the new iPhone just came out, and you're probably asking yourself, how do I decide which iPhone to get? Should I get the new one? Should I get the bigger one? Should I get the Pro version? Should I get the year before? What I'm going to show you is what I use to make the decision to purchase an iPhone. It's a 5-step process. You can use this for not just for iPhones, you can use it for Androids, you can use it for iPhone and Androids. So let's get started. Okay, step one. So step one, what is the end of life of your phone? And for Apple anyways, they say that their end of life is around 7 years, as far as when parts are available, as well as there's software updates. If you go to their website, I have the links down below. But end of life is up to you, what you consider. What is your standard for the end of life of your phone? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? For me, it's when the apps start running a little bit slow, and that comes out maybe about 4 years for me, 4 or 5 years. As the processor speeds gets faster and faster, people make the apps more powerful, and that causes the older phones to get weaker, and that's the main reason why the functionality goes down. For me, the end of life, I'm going to set it for 4 to 5 years. Step 2 is the cost. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you onto my computer. So looking at this, the example that we're going to talk about is when I was looking at purchasing a phone in around 2019, 2020, around when the iPhone 11s and SE came out. So I took the cost of all the phones. So not just the iPhone 11s, but they were also selling XRs, iPhone 8s. Took all the prices, put into a spreadsheet. So basically I took the cost and I put in the end of life. So since I figured that it was about 4 or 5 years, I went conservative and took the 4 years. That way it gave me a nice cushion and helped me to understand the amount that I will be paying per year for that device. Okay, so for instance, if I were to take the iPhone 11 Pro, it would have a 4-year life. And so if you divide that by 4, it would be 312. Okay, and it's a simple calculation. Just take the cost divided by the number of years before end of life. So if I made it for 5, you see the number go down. Okay? So if I held on to it for 5 years, it would be 250 instead of 312. But that's what I did. Now, as you notice, as we go down, the iPhone 8, although it's the cheapest phone, because there's only 2 years left, it's not the cheapest per year. So the XR, the SE, and the iPhone 11 are all cheaper than the iPhone 8 when you do per year calculation. And that's what the per year calculation helps. It helps me to see whether something is truly cheap or not. So looking at this, the cheapest iPhone 11 is $699, but you only getting 64 gigs, and that's not a lot of space at all. I would probably get the 256 versions at least. I would even skip over the 128 version, just because I've already had problems with my current iPhone SE. 64 gigs, it runs out of space so quickly. So step 3 is what are the features that you're looking at. So you're doing your research, and you're seeing the different features that are coming out, some of the new features that you don't have with your current phone that you want to have, and something that is not just it's not just it's really cool or it's a really neat feature that I might never use, but it's something that it's a little bit stronger than that. It's something that you're going to continue to use year after year. The ones that I would use all the time are the night mode. Definitely going to be taking shots in the nighttime. Definitely will use that a lot. Ultra wide lens. Always need ultra wide. Telephoto is another feature I would use. Fingerprint sensor. I like it better than the Face ID because you don't have to take your eyes off of what you're doing. And weight. I've had an iPhone SE, which is a very light phone. Having a heavier phone, it's not comfortable to hold on to for a long period of time. So weight is a factor for me. Hey, if you like what you're seeing so far, hey, click the like button, leave a comment. Let's jump back in. Step 4 is narrow down the number of phones to 3, and this helps you make the decision process a little bit easier. So we have all of our phones listed out here based off of the cost, based off of the features, taking into account the end of life. I can start narrowing things down. So already I know the iPhone 8s are too expensive, so those are definitely out. The next one I'm already looking at is XR. XR is similar to the SE in terms of features, except that it has a weaker processor, although it does have a bigger screen. But for me, years of life is more important, so the XR is already out. Now lastly, the Pro Max. The Pro Max is exactly the same as the iPhone 11 Pro in my aspect, but it's bigger and heavier, so that one is already out. So the remaining 3 are going to be the SE, the 11, and the 11 Pro. Here we go. Step 5 is longevity. So longevity is, are you going to use the phone even after it's no longer a phone? Once processor has been no longer able to play the new apps that are coming out, are you still going to be using that phone? Or is it something that's just going to collect dust, or you're going to return it? So longevity is another thing I had to consider. So let's go back to our features and take a look at them. Okay, so looking at our features, okay, now the SE, I already told you, now the SE has the weight and the fingerprint sensor, but in terms of longevity, I'm going to use the cameras more. So after the phone is done, I probably wouldn't use it as much, because weight and fingerprint sensor isn't something that I would use when the phone is no longer used as a phone. So that's out. Now at least with the 11 and the Pro. So the Pro does have a lot of features, although it does cost quite a bit more. I think about $300 more. I had to make a tough decision. Okay, so looking at the cost, $849 versus 11, so that's $300 difference. So I would be paying $1,100 for over $1,100 for the phone, and that was a difficult choice for me. So I ended up getting the iPhone 11 instead of the Pro. Now there is a caveat. So the iPhone SE didn't come out until 2020. I was still making a decision to then. In actuality, I didn't decide on a phone until 2021. So that kind of changes things a little bit, and let's go back to our calculations. Okay, so looking at this, if I waited until 2021, that's about 1.5 years after the iPhone 11 came out. So technically there's about 2.5 years. I waited, so that means I had my SE for about 5 years before I got the iPhone 11. So cost-wise, because I held it for 5 years, my SE, I had it for under $100 a year. The iPhone 11, on the other hand, because I got it a 1.5 years later, I ended up spending $255. Even though the price went down, I ended up spending $255.60. Now I'll talk about this price a little bit later, because it's not just, it wasn't a new phone. It was through Apple's Renewed service, and I want to make a video about that because I think it's a really great service that they have. But anyways, I got it from their Renewed service, so it was not just a discounted price because it was a 1.5 years later, but it was further discounted because it was a renewed phone. So that's why it was $639 or $255. So think about that. If I had purchased the iPhone 11 at the time it came out, it would have cost me $212.25 per year. But because it waited, even though the price went down, it's going to be about $255.60. But I think I can probably get 3.5 years. So if I put in 3.5 years, that will bring it down to $182.57. So let me try and do that. I want to do that to meet that goal. I really hope this helped you out. I wanted to put something together just in case you're in that decision-making struggle, trying to figure out what phone to get, whether it's an iPhone or an Android. You can use the same procedure for that as well. Hey, if you want to see the next video, click right here. If you want to see something else, click here. Thank you so much for watching, and aloha.